Okay, and we're live here. Surprise broadcast, Monday, September 9th, about my upcoming song releases and going down the whole thing and the important contributors involved need to be mentioned and stuff. The stories I don't often get to tell. So, yeah, this will be good. So, I already explained the main ones coming up soon, and it's this Saturday. This Saturday are the first ones. There's a thing called Love, it's the title of one of them. It's more up tempo pop tune, and Because Now, which is a slower ballad type like doo wop acapella with an instrumental in the middle. Basically, the instrumental I worked on long. I tweaked it long. It wasn't gonna have drums at first, and I added like some drums into it. But other than that, the track is mostly acapella. It's doo wop. Sorry about the background disruptions. So that's Saturday the 14th this week, and September 25th. I'm Loving You All the Time, and that's the one for Danielle Marsh. If you're out there somewhere, hi. And it's a nice like country feel, so to speak, a nice tune, a nice love song, basically. And but now I have another one. I have another one that I finished too, and the release dates after that. So we're counting down to all these release dates. All these songs of mine will be on my Spotify. I'm a verified artist on Spotify, so you can find my name there, David Isaiah Black, and on iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, and all the other typical places people go for their listening enjoyment and stuff. But October 3rd, Sister If is the track being released. Um, and that had a group of songwriters originally. Now this track was a long time in the making, and this dates back to the 90s. So the original group was Summer Velvet that I was involved in. So here's what happened. Let me take a deep breath. It's a long story. I never get to tell this story. I never get to tell this story. I never get to tell this story. But so in high school, I was in a rock band, a few different groups. Like we retitled ourselves. So first we were Sullivan's Dog, and the videos are on my channel for Sullivan's Dog. And then we renamed ourselves Frith's Sake. Like the name Frith is from a novel, Watership Down, sun god Frith, which I'm not, the religion of which I'm not an adherent to per se. So yeah, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. So, but anyway, it must have been around the time of First Sake, and it must have been like the summer before my senior year. That's just how I remember it. So that puts it at 1995, which means I got several things done at the same time. I don't know how I got that much done and accomplished and like achieved that much. So if you're asking me, I don't know. Like it just one day after another got things done, I guess. I don't know. But so 95 there, the summer, I think that's when it was. And our group typically had 4 to 5 members in it. And Scott was our drummer. And Scott and I wanted to break from our typical singer, Dan, and from our typical bass player, our usual bass player, Sam. And so we wanted to do a secret side project in the summer and write and record a couple songs. We definitely wanted to break from Dan and from Sam. We wanted to just work with a smaller group that had less friction and more cohesion, less interruptions, and ability to just work together like very, very effectively and accomplish a lot in like a short period of time, just to prove like it's possible to do and to not have so much like horsing around and stuff. So we found a time when no one was interested in doing anything. It was right at the end of summer before school started. I think obviously Scott was in college by that point. So it was Scott and I, and then Scott brought in a different singer. It was Mark Pruksh. Now this was a high school friend of ours who eventually became a Hollywood actor, as it was. But at the time, he was just a fellow high school student that had graduated. He also at the time, I think, was already in college somewhere in the University of Wisconsin system. I think I don't remember like exactly, but so this is the actor Mark. I have the bio right here from IMDb. An American comedian, actor, and screenwriter, he is best known for his roles as Colin Robinson in the FX horror comedy series What We Do in the Shadows, 2019 to present. Daniel Price, Wormald, AMC's Better Call Saul, and Nate Nickerson, NBC's The Office, and they give his personal marriage status, and some trivia here as to how his original fame was created. He depicted this yo-yo like artist Kenny K. Strasser. He did these comedy routines like pretending to be a real motivational speaker or something like that was talking to students, and he would bring his yo-yo in and act like a dumb butt, basically. Um, and so one of the times I was visiting home, because I was a teacher, and so one of the times I was visiting home during winter vacation or summer, or whatever, I think it might have been 2011 or 12, my mom started talking about this and how Mark Pritch had this rise to fame from doing that. And I was like, wow, I better find the demos that we did, because Mark's voice is on there. That would be a valuable like demo to reclaim. So the original, hey, so going back to the 90s, going back to the original, let's take a step backwards in time, go back to the original recording. So once we had that free time blocked out, we had Mark available. What we did was we wrote the songs. Scott's idea was to like just lay down the music first and don't worry about so much about the words and the spoke or the sung melody. So we just laid down the instrumental tracks first, and so we did like about two songs. I remember about two songs that had many sections in them, and they had changing time signatures and stuff, and interesting like sections, different sections that went to them. Um, and I use like I even got picky about the guitar choice and stuff, and alternate tuning, using alternate tuning and stuff for Sister If. But so the after we did the instrumental tracks, we brought Mark in, and Mark thought of words and sung a melody over everything in the words. I think Scott worked with him on the lyrics and the ideas for the songs and the titles. The first song talked about Jesus, like Jesus waves at me or something, and the second song was called Sister If, and it turned out to be just a great track. So Mark mostly penned the words and worked on it with Scott and the melody and lyrics, and I obviously I played guitar on it. Scott played drums. I played bass on it. And I remember doing the mix down, but all of it was recorded on 4-track tape. And so, you can multi-track on that, and you can bounce and add tracks as you want to. It just starts to like degrade the more you try to put into one like track on a 4-track tape. But or the more you try to put into one song on a 4-track tape, it all starts to degrade. If you put too much in, you can keep putting multiple or adding tracks on top and on top, because you can bounce tracks together. But so I did the mix down on it, and more than one person of us had like a final mix down tape, I think. I mean, I probably copied it and mailed it to them, or did my diligence. I didn't hear like any complaining. But over time that got lost. I don't even remember how like on my end I lost my copies. It's just I had so many tapes and stuff from my years as a musician that I don't know like what happened to this particular tape. I might have had like the actual 4-track master for a longer time. Those 4-track masters, they go at a slower speed. They go at a different speed or a faster speed than a regular tape player does. It's either 2 times as fast or 2 times as slow. I forget. It might move faster actually to pick up more or like record more detail and stuff. When you try to play it in a normal tape deck, it doesn't play right. It plays slow. So basically, over time it just got lost. And at the time when my mom like reminded me of production, told me what was happening, I looked again in my stash of tapes and I tried as best I could to find the silly tape, because it would have had both songs on it and every single thing, the exact perfect words that Mark was saying. But to no avail, I could not find it. So many years passed, and I thought, since I couldn't get, I've talked with Scott multiple times to try to see if he has a copy of it, and I'm not sure. I don't think he probably has one he can easily send to me. So in 2019, I redid like a demo version. It's on my channel. It's not the highest quality in my opinion, because the drums aren't tailor made to the specific song that well. This just matches the time signature properly. So basically, I let that stand for a long time. And I kept bugging Scott to like regroup the original people and record like a really good version what it was supposed to be. Like, you know, the original group that we had in mind, Summer Velvet, we were supposed to be something like in our minds, we were going to like perform live and stuff and go into establishments, perform live, do our song, be taken seriously. It was not a joke group. It was not a joke group. Um, we expected to be taken seriously, definitely. So what really did happen is we did our final performances with our other group that had dance. We, you know, for sake and stuff, we did our final performances my senior year, as far as I remember. Um, so that's what really took probably like the place of that. And so skipping forward in time, I kept bugging Scott during the pandemic. Can we please get the original like people together in order to reproduce the song or do like the best possible like version? Now at that point, like Mark was already a known actor and stuff, and had these shows going and stuff, you know. So I did my best to talk with Scott, and I sent like a message or so to Mark to let him know what I was trying to do at least. So if he wanted to ever like step in and sing, he knew how to reach me. Like, you know, the project is being spearheaded by me. um, and so he'd have to go directly to me if he wants to sing on the track. Um, that's how that was going to work. So I was his friend before. We've talked long. I don't expect to have to go through a manager or agent for something for to talk to my friend. That's just like my opinion. No one built a wall between us. I see he's married, but that could play in. That could play in. He might have like limited time for his family. I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that. So anyway, so once the planets aligned and I was able to produce uh, really much better with all the right things in place, the right equipment and stuff, I started to, you know, work on the drum track for Sister If and start to get this thing going again. So I now have the final produced version, and it sounds like fantastic. It sounds dynamite. Um, I'll be accused of sounding too much like Mark Brooks in the vocals, but all I'm doing is like my own method of good vocal production. I'm not trying to sound like Mark, but I'm pretty sure I sang the words as what he originally did, pretty much, and that's pretty much all there's to. And I did all the sections as I remember the whole thing being, and everything is more correct actually. So it's a very exciting like recording. And I credited both Mark and Scott, because those were and myself were the songwriters on the track. So I was in the mix. I have still my rights to the track too. So as I mentioned, Mark's movies, he did what's it called? His shows, What We Do in the Shadows. Sorry, What We Do in the Shadows, and I'll post that on Facebook too, probably. But Scott's in his own group now, and Scott is the bass player for them. I helped Scott learn bass back at the time because Scott was our drummer. But Scott's in the Buddy Revels, and they have a new EP, more or less, called The Constellation. It's a 4-song EP. It says right here in their blog, on their WordPress, after more than 15 years, the Buddy Revels return with the first of three 4-song EPs, The Constellation. So I guess that means they plan to produce 3 4-song EPs in a series. Sounds interesting, huh? Let me bring this up on Spotify. Just wait a second here while I get the songs up here. So this EP has Abracadabruckus. Abracadabruckus. It's the first track. Music, Crisis Midlife, and Born to Lose, and Locked In Loaded. It's track 4. I listened to some. It sounds like them. I can tell you. I liked American Matador. American Matador was pretty good, but so was September November. So I thought I would plug that. It sounds high quality. It doesn't sound bad. Don't get me wrong. It sounds good. Sounds good. And he's great to work. He was great to work with at the time. Both of them. It was fun. Really fun to do. But oh yeah, the Sister If song meaning. The song meaning. it's not talking about my real sister per se. It's talking about a Christian sister who doesn't play ball right, who she can't be really like dealt with much. She can't really be like very boldly confronted or often confronted or talked with very much. She tends to be really accosted and like talked with very like strongly. She's only my sister if certain things. If I don't do that, if I'm more like about somebody else, then she's my sister or whatever. And so that's what, and to me, the lyrics sound like a question to Dr. Laura, Dr. Laura Schlesinger, followed by some repetitive anthem like structure of a different radio personality, shall we say? But yeah, people can check out the track once it's out October 3rd. Yeah, on my Spotify, my verified artist page, on Spotify. There you go. So yeah, I thought I'd just come on today and remind everyone that, and thanks for listening today. Yeah.